I'll never forget the morning I found folding chairs stacked neatly on my porch like they belonged there. It was a cool Saturday, lake air drifting through the pines. My father's old mug warm in my hand, and his flag moving in a slow rhythm on the pole. Then I saw it, a note taped to my front door, reserved for wedding Saturday.
No name.
No number, no permission. Just a claim. For a second I thought it had to be a mistake, but as I looked around it hit me. This wasn't confusion. It was entitlement. This cabin isn't a rental. It's where my dad taught me to tie a line, fix a screen door, and respect a boundary. Every plank holds a memory. Seeing that word reserved on the door felt like someone had walked right through our family history without knocking. I followed the trail, rows of chairs, buckets of white flowers and string lights draped between pines, drooping like half-finished thoughts. Down by the gravel, a woman in pastel linen barked orders at two teenagers hauling boxes. Clipboard, sunglasses, HOA energy all the way. You must be the owner, she said, like it was some pleasant surprise. I am, I said slowly. Mind telling me what's going on? She gestured toward my cabin like it was a wedding venue. We reserved it for a ceremony, 100 guests. I emailed your HOA last week and never heard back, so we went ahead. It was my first spark of anger, not loud but hot. I'm not part of your HOA, I said. And this cabin isn't a community property. It's private. She chuckled, the kind of laugh that tells you she thinks you're mistaken. Oh, sweetie, we've always used this shoreline for events. It's tradition. I kept my voice steady. My dad bought this land before your HOA even existed. There's no tradition here, just trespassing. Her tone hardened. My daughter's wedding is today. Guests are on their way. Vendors are booked. It's happening. Then she turned to the teens. Keep setting up. That disbelief hit me like a wave. The way she said it, calm, certain, like the sun needed her permission to rise. I took a long breath and said, You need to move your things. You didn't ask, and you don't have permission. Her eyes flicked to the flag on my pole. You know, she said, this would look nicer without that old pole. That did it. My father's flag is sacred ground. I set my mug on the porch rail, pulled out my phone, and calmly called the non-emergency sheriff's line. Then I started recording, walking the property line as I spoke. Chairs on my porch, floral arches on my rocks, lights on my pines. She followed close behind, snapping her fingers like I worked for her. This is harassment, she said. I'm calling 911, you can, I said evenly. But you're still trespassing. The next hour felt like a slow-motion standoff. A rental truck rolled up, loaded with tables. A DJ climbed out, carrying speakers, until I asked for a permit or contract. He froze. There wasn't one. Then came the next tactic, money. We're willing to make a donation, she said. $500. I looked toward the cabin, the patched step I'd fixed last fall. The framed photo of my dad holding me on that same porch when I was too small to see over the railing. You don't have enough money, I said quietly. Move your things. Her smile dropped. I'm on the HOA board. I'll file a complaint about your shoreline and that flag height. That made me laugh, not mockingly, just tired. You don't have authority here, I said. I'm not in your HOA. It's when she did it. She actually called 911, yes, emergency, I heard her say. The property owner is threatening us and blocking a permitted event. Then she hung up, smirked, and said, They're coming. You'll be removed. Called my wife and told her to stay home until I texted. Then I called my neighbor, Tom. He's been here longer than anyone. He showed up 10 minutes later, boots dusty, hat low. One look around and he muttered, These folks don't even know the difference between a lake lot and a public park.
Out.
About 20 minutes later, a patrol car pulled in. The deputy got out, took one look around, and asked, Who's in charge here? The mother stepped forward, waving her clipboard like a badge. We reserved this property for a wedding. He's interfering. The deputy turned to me. You, the owner? Yes, sir, I said, handing him my deed folder. I always keep a copy here, learned that the hard way years ago. Boundaries mean nothing to people until you show them on paper. He read, nodded, then walked the property with me, checking the stakes I'd painted last spring. When we got back, he looked at the crowd and said flatly, "This is private property. There's no reservation. You all need to leave." The woman tried tears. "But my daughter's wedding." "We sent out invitations." "I understand," the deputy said, calm but firm. "You still need the owner's permission." She fumbled through her folder and pulled out an HOA email. "See, it says traditional lakeside event space." The deputy skimmed it, then handed it back. "It doesn't name this property. You can't use a tradition to enter someone's home." Silence spread through the yard. You could hear the soft water tapping the rocks and the flag rustling again. Even the teenagers looked embarrassed. The DJ quietly unplugged his gear. The rental driver asked where to go next. The woman stood frozen, disbelief written all over her face, like I'd broken a rule she'd just made up. "Ma'am," I said gently, "you and your daughter deserve a nice day, but this isn't the place. There's a public park 5 miles north with power and space. Try there." She didn't thank me, but her eyes flicked toward the direction I mentioned. She turned and started giving orders again, this time in defeat. "Pack it up," she said. The kids folded chairs, the DJ coiled cables, and when the last light string came off my pine, the bark seemed to breathe again. The deputy stayed a little while longer, just to make sure no one circled back. Tom leaned against his truck, talking about fishing to keep things light. The kind of small talk men use to level out a tense morning. When the last truck rumbled off, the silence felt right. I walked the yard, picked up scraps of tape, coiled an extension cord, and tightened the flag rope where it had loosened. The breeze caught the fabric, and for a second, it felt like my dad was there, nodding. A couple hours later, my phone buzzed. An unknown number. It was a photo of the park pavilion decorated, chairs lined, flowers set. The message said, "We found a place. Thank you." No name, but I knew it was the bride. I showed my wife. She smiled. "Good," she said. "That's how it should be." A week later, the HOA newsletter came out with a line about respecting private property lines. No apology. No mention of the sheriff. Didn't need one. I had my porch back, my shoreline clear, and my father's flag moving steady in the wind. Here's what I learned that day. Boundaries aren't about keeping people out. They're about keeping what matters in respect, memory, and the stories we carry. That evening, I sat on the steps with my old mug, the lake gold under the setting sun. And for the first time all day, I felt calm. The lake was steady again, and so was I. When people treat your home like a venue, you're not being difficult for saying no. You're honoring the people who built it. Have you ever faced an HOA like this? Share your story in the comments. I read every one. If you believe some fights are worth having, hit subscribe and let's stand up together.